Welcome back, everybody, to Markonomics 101 presents Hoot Loot, the show where you come to be informed, be amused, but never be misled. And today is the Halloween weekend show, and I tell you, it couldn't get any more scarier out there than this. I had to have a special mask made so that I could watch cable news for a couple minutes without, without it being fatal. I have to take I have to take my own vitamin regimen. I don't take those chemical vaccines. But in any event, I'm here. I'm going to risk my lives for you. I'm going to hear the crap that you don't want to hear, that you don't want to see. I'm pulling this thing off, and you guys can come get me because I am not afraid of you. I have got Jason's own knife right here. And, if there's one thing I'm really good at a knife about, it is getting. Oh, see, look. Oops. Oh, well, we'll try that next time. In any event, we're going to be back with the charts in a minute. If you would like and subscribe right down here, we're going to give you some information that you really need to know that is going to be very critical to how you make your decisions. And I really want to make sure that this is something that you understand, because if you just look at it and go, hey, that's kind of neat, that's good, but you're going to need to make decisions based on this. And um, garbage in, garbage out. I'm going to give you clean stuff in, clean stuff out. You're going to make good decisions. I'm going to work with you, help you, save you. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for you. I've already lived 63 great lives, and people have fought for freedom. I'm going to fight for yours. Let's come back with the charts. Hi, everybody. We're back, and we're going to show you some incredible things. Some different, some the same, mostly the same. That you really need to absorb this, because this is so counterintuitive, and no one wants to absorb it. People just want to get rich. They want to get greedy. We are in a society that's out of control. So this first chart is the margin debt to the nominal GDP. Now, margin debt is the debt that brokerage firms like Goldman Sachs extend you, or Wells Fargo, so that you can borrow. You can leverage your securities holdings. And when margin debt goes up like this, and it's high, it's the highest ratio of GDP, we are at the end of the ballgame. We are in the final innings. I think we're in like the 21st inning. This thing has been an extra an extra game, an extra 12 innings. But margin debt speaks so loudly here. Take a look at this. Send this to your friends. I mean, this thing says it all. Bitcoin, which is one of my favorite canaries in the coal mine, and one of the things I love to do about Bitcoin, I know within 2 minutes of this going up, I'm going to go, oh, I just bought 5 Bitcoins. Oh, thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah. Stomp on me. Oh, God, do I love that. I can't wait to see your face when you see it all gone and you go, maybe I should have read this guy's stuff. Because due diligence is so important to investing. Charts are key for timing, but due diligence, if you don't know what you're buying, don't buy it. People don't know what Bitcoin is. People don't even know what stocks are. So don't buy things you don't know. You're going to lose money. You don't know what metrics to buy or sell on. Bitcoin looks like it's made a double top. It had an ETF last week that came out that had the biggest inflows in history in 2.5 days. It was pretty amazing. But the funny thing is, and I emphasized this last week, Bitcoin has futures and options. And I'm going to show you those a little bit later on, and why, if somebody just asked the most basic question, they'd realize that Bitcoin is nothing. It's a password. And we're having a special password sale this weekend till the end of the year, Christmas sale. Passwords, 5,000, $49.99, and if you buy 100 of them, we'll sell them to you for 300,000. We are gonna beat the competition of Bitcoin if it's the last thing we do. Passwords, well, we patented how to make them, so sorry, you're not gonna be able to do it yourself. Just kidding. Okay. Tesla is another canary in the coal mine. Why do we call it that? Because the stupidest money, and I hate saying stupidest, but it's the most uneducated, naivest money These are people that see riches and no losses because they've seen it for so long that they can't fathom they're going to lose money. They just can't fathom it. Now, Tesla's not worth nothing. It has value, but it is not worth $1.15 trillion. It's a $4 trillion company. It just surpassed Facebook. And Facebook should be the first zero or minus zero company. It hasn't gotten there yet, too. We're going to talk about that. But Tesla sold 100,000 cars to Hertz as rentals. Now, that sale equaled $4 billion. Four, okay? Now, Tesla has gone up by $150 billion on that $4 billion sale. And what's funny about that is Elon Musk just got $50 billion richer to be the richest man in the country and the richest con man in the country. I used to think that was probably Vladimir Putin. Who knows? Maybe it's a Chinese. Now, these are some of Tesla's rules. I had to put these down because, you can't just say them once. It's like a Lay's potato chip. You got to eat. Is there a Lay's potato chip around here? I thought I saw one, but oh, wait, here it is. Hold on. Let me get one of these things. Forget it. I can eat just one. They suck. They're kind of rancid. In any event, 20 of the things that you cannot do when you work for Elon Musk. You can't take weekends off. Okay, so assuming that he doesn't take weekends off, which I would assume, that means he has 40 hours left after working for Tesla, for SpaceX, for Borex, for his Neuralink, where you're going to basically be hooked up to a bunch of diodes and walk around like a robot. Invasion of the Robots is closer than you think. But you can't take a weekend off. You can't use jargon. You can't use cologne. And if, God forbid, you need to go to the bathroom, you're probably better off putting a bucket under your cubicle because this guy doesn't want you leaving. This guy is a tyrant. And if you look up there's a website called glassdoor.com. Amazon and Tesla are continually two of the worst companies to work for, but they're so liberal. They're so good. They're such good people, except when it comes to doing what they do, because then it's, they're exempt from those rules because they're good people. And those of us that don't agree are bad people. We must be exterminated. Not so fast, guys. Not so fast. Not so fast. Not so fast. All right. Dow Jones Industrials. Now, these are going in a horizontal bull flag. I call it a bull flag because usually when it's a horizontal sideways move consolidation, it tends to continue the direction that preceded it. And that's what Dow just got above. I'm not yet ready to go all in. I'm not going to go all in anyway because he's overvalued. But, for a trade, maybe. NASDAQ 100, same thing. It just burst out. Apple's looking pretty good. What blows me away, we're going to talk about this in a minute, the earnings are unreal. I don't know whether they are completely fabricated, whether they're just kind of pushed and pulled or whatever, but I'm telling you, companies don't ever miss earnings these days. It's like 10% of the time. And what they'll do is they'll change the goalposts. So, we have to beat earnings by $1 this year. Oh, did I say $1? I meant 98 cents. Did I say 98 cents? I meant a nickel. And then it comes in at 6 cents, and they are the heroes of the world. S&P small cap 500, look at that. That's really a very constructive pattern. I can't look at this and think that, we are right at the top. I mean, it could be a few months away. It could be. I mean, you just never know. But this does not suggest top to me. Neither does the S&P 500. Look at that, breaking out slightly. It's not going up very fast these days. It's definitely running out of speed. And that creates a rounded top. A rounded top occurs when you have like a parabola, like you throw a baseball and the baseball goes up and slows down and comes down. Well, that's kind of like what S&P looks like, and it just might be a long extended one. I don't know. We just keep our eyes open for these and we stay away from them because we don't know. Dow Jones Transportations. Now, this is possibly one of the most bullish signs you could get. All of a sudden, transports went from, practically just diving to now all of a sudden they are going to make a new high with the Dow, possibly. The Dow's made a new high, the transports make a new high. That's called a Dow theory signal, and that's a pretty good sign. And it's been around for 100 years. I don't know if it's that accurate. It's kind of old like me, so it's a little bit of fossil-like, and you have to kind of, you know, wipe the dust off every so often. Um, and but transportations are really critical right now, especially because of the log jams, the bottlenecks, the 61 containers off of the port of Los Angeles just sitting there burning fuel. And you know, I kind of wonder well, they use marine oil, so it's the most polluting kind of oil there is. Thank you, Green Warriors. Thank you, AOC. You're just going to make this planet such a paradise for your own self-interest and the self-interest of every one of you politicians who couldn't give a crap about how our lives are. You've never had a job or you've been fired from it. You cheat, you lie, you do everything, and you can't get fired. Vote out the incumbents. That's the key. We want people that represent us, not represent themselves. They work for us, we don't work for them, and we're going to make sure that they know it on 2022 in the November election. And I want you all to help me fire them. They have done terrible things to you. Here's your chance to say, you don't deserve a job. Go work at McDonald's. Go work at Dairy Queen. See what it's like to earn a living. Go work at Walmart. See what it's like, how hard it is without your little perks. I'm not really that mad today. I'm actually in a great mood. Except when I think about professional politicians, I just want to... Sorry. The shrink says I'm having anger management problems, again, because of those stimulus checks. Okay. US dollar, and this is another one that just floors me. The US dollar, I extended it out to 20 years. This is a 20-year chart of the dollar. I mean, it looks like it's going up. It's had a little brief move. I really don't get this. I mean, how does the US buy US dollars with US dollars? Or you buy them with Deutsche Frank or euros or something like that, and you reduce your currency. I'm not quite sure how this is, how they're holding this up, or this is just a market phenomenon, but we're not importing goods, so that can't be it. And our interest rates are low. That can't be it. The CRB, look at that. This is a 20-year chart. The CRB has gone up something like 9 weeks in a row, and it's all energy related, and energy is the biggest component. Some of the other components like copper and food, we're not going to show you today because they've started to sort of come in. But the thing is, energy, there's enough in the pipeline. This goes through the pipeline. It'll be a year before all of this filters through. So we have a while to go. Natural gas, this one, the Russians hold a chunk of it, and if I were Vladimir Putin right now, and you're in a struggle with these two insane countries. I mean, you have an insane one too. So you've got two insane countries, one to the south, one across the seas, and then you've got Europe, and you're not going to be all so forthcoming in having natural gas go out to people. Crude oil goes up every damn day, 8 or 9 weeks in a row. It's never happened. Right now, the cost, what has kept the cost of crude oil down has been shale oil. And shale oil, its biggest cost was energy. And when energy was not costing a lot and you could drill shale oil, you got a hell of a break-even point. And right now, everything costs you more. Transporting, drilling, we've made so many of these. There's an ecological nightmare out there, these pits and everything else. There's a lot of shale oil there, but I'm not sure it's going to come to the rescue this time. We'll have to see. Again, I've shown this a couple of times, and I think it's really important that if you had to look at some charts, these would be among the first. This is the Chicago Board Options Exchange, publicly traded. But look at this thing. It's going to new highs. I mean, it's really hard to imagine that a market would actually fall while the market itself, the mechanism is going up like this. It just doesn't, it just doesn't make sense. We've got the ICE owner. ICE is the owner of the NYSE. That's the Intercontinental Intercontinental Holdings. And this is not the Immigration and Customs Bureau. So if any of you are, new to this country and immigrants and want to participate, don't worry. They're not out to get you. Well, they are out to get you. Well, no, they're not out to get you. They're out to keep you. But the New York Stock Exchange, what this says is there's going to be more volume. People do not trade a lot of volume when the market's going down because they lose interest. People are only interested in what goes up. Okay, that's it. If it goes down, they don't care, even if it's cheaper. And that's the problem. I'm going to show you stuff in subsequent programs that are cheap, and you won't look at them because they're cheap, because you think somebody must know somebody. Sometimes it's just a matter of cash flow and timing. Fundamentals and where the charts are sometimes agree, sometimes don't. I'll pick the charts for the timing, but the fundamentals I want behind me so that they will push the charts as high as possible. Here's the NASDAQ again. The NASDAQ is, this is the owners of all the tech stocks. Look at that. It's gone up from 120. It's doubled in a year. It's doubled in a year. FedEx, here's one that is critical in transporting goods and food and everything else. And look at that. Burst up, burst down, and now it looks like it's kind of creeping back up. But I'm going to stick with the thesis I've had for the last couple of shows. And the thesis is this, that because of all of these cross currents going on in ports and logs, we are seeing what looks like a bump in the economy, empty shelves, things like that, shortages. And we're seeing phony GDP numbers, which, of course, if you watch cable TV, you're gonna start to believe that. Oh, GDP went up by 10% today. There is no inflation in the market. I can go spend my money. I should give the rest of my money to the politician that is going to rule my district and restrict my rights. That's the talking points they get. All right. Mastercard is important for two reasons. One, because Mastercard, the balance is built when you have you're in pretty good credit shape. Now, notice here that the balance isn't building. I mean, basically, it's not looking like people are buying more goods and there's a new takeoff. And if anything, it's breaking down below a very, very long consolidation bull flag. These are not good. And I'm going to explain this to you one more time in case you've missed it. When you have a sideways pattern like this, okay, and you have people buying within the sideways pattern like this, those are all the new holders. Once it breaks up substantially, they're all making a profit. They're all going to buy more. They're all going to get greedy. You're going to see a big move. When it breaks down, they're all going to think, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. Every one of these people are down, and you're going to see momentum push this thing a lot lower. The longer the consolidation period, the sharper the move and the longer the move, because you've had so many people that have to now readjust their portfolios. So MasterCard is a key one to watch. UPS, the exact opposite. Now, I don't understand this one. This one, it's as if FedEx went out of business and UPS, took them over. They were just complaining about, shortages of this and that. Well, they're doing pretty good. So you cannot categorically say that the economy is about to go bust. But what you can say, what I do think is indicative here, is that you're going to see no Christmas season. People are going to buy Christmas presents in November, and people are going to freak. There's going to be, kind of a Black Friday that they always love to talk about, and there's going to be some real problems here. And Christmas presents might not even make it in time. So we're going to have a really bad retail season, and I think, and it's not too far off before a lot of these consolidation patterns that I've been showing you break, and we're going to see the next big move in the market. And it will be a big move. It's not just going to be a little small move. Yeah, maybe you get sometimes a little bit of a head fake. But I'm talking about all of them. They will all move at once. When they all move at once, You move it once. You move your money someplace safe. That's all I got to tell you. And we will start developing those places for you, so that you don't have to be blasted by this, and you can stay liquid for when the opportunity is there. And you'll be one of those people that buys the Dow at 1,000 and enjoys riding it to 35,000. Okay, but you're not going to do it here. Visa is another credit card company, a biggie, also rounded top, also broke down, as you can see on Friday. This is not good. I mean, this is not good. Walmart, this is hilarious. Walmart is one of the stodgiest stores, run by one of the stodgiest, richest families, all in their 90s. And the last thing that Walmart would ever endorse would be a Bitcoin or hold it, because it's just, they've been around, they have experience. They're not willing to take some yo-yo's word for it on the street corner. Oh yeah, you gotta buy Bitcoin. It'll make you so hip. Nah. That's not gonna work. So with the Waltons, what they're doing is they're putting in machines, and you buy Bitcoin at an exorbitant commission. It's like 10%. You'll never pay 10%. You're already down 10%. And these are the people that couldn't buy it any other way. So you're talking about the most marginal of marginal buyers thinking it's hip. They're gonna make $1 million, and we're gonna have a country full of millionaires. Where Big Macs cost you $5 million a piece, and a Big Mac meal is gonna cost you $10 million a piece. But that's what happens. There's too much to buy with, not enough to buy of, and you get rich by having goods. You have cars, you have equipment, you have machinery, you have food. We became rich by being an agricultural power, and people fought it tooth and nail, but it made a difference. It got people off the farms. They learned new trades, okay, and it was probably one of the most, and the assembly line at Ford, that also got a lot of people, to mass produce. So those are important things. Amazon is also another one that's had about a year and a half, and it's kind of broken up, kind of broken down. Not sure what to think of it. I do know what I think about Jeff Bezos and his Blue Origins. It's kind of a joke. I don't know if this still exists in high school, but in high school, there were kids that drove fancy cars, and they competed against each other with their fancy cars. And the joke used to be that what they lacked in certain areas, they make up with their car. Now, if you take Bezos and Musk, you're talking about two guys that must really lack, okay? I mean, maybe that's what got Musk smoking marijuana all the time. I don't know. Google has gone straight up now. You could have bought this thing halfway up and still had an enormous gain, but I wouldn't have done it. This is the kind of thing that is absolutely just going to be an explosion. And Google's a good company. They've got a lot of good companies, but it's too big. It's going to have to be in some way streamlined, and they have too much power in their search engines. Their search engines have been shown, absolutely shown, to favor, their political, aspects. Well, this is Apple 5 years. Apple's still doing well. I don't understand it, how a $50 phone that costs in China can be sold for $1,300 here. But you know what? I guess we should be glad they have the pollution and we don't. They don't want it anymore. I think they're going to start moving production away, and that's going to cause civil unrest in China. So instead of them trying to foment it here, they're going to foment it themselves. See, socialism is about equal outcome, not equal opportunity. And when you give people equal opportunity, they compete. By competing, they do their best, okay? They want to. It's a natural human emotion. Now, when you have equal outcome, there's no need to compete, because every World Series is a tie. Every basketball game's a tie. Everybody is exactly the same as everybody else, and they're just a bunch of drones. So, it takes a lot of the joie de vivre from life, and I just suspect that there is civil unrest in China that is going unreported, squashed, and it's going to be a problem. I don't think they are the enemy that Joe Biden has tried to create them to be, or Hunter, or whoever the hell is helping them. Facebook, I want to talk about this for a minute. Facebook is the most evil corporation, as far as I know, in the United States, other than maybe some mobs, but they're not corporations. Mark Zuckerberg is a POS, and you know what that stands for. They have internal documents that have been released this week that indicate what I have been saying for months, back in May, April, that basically Facebook is a breeding ground for scamming, threatening, child trafficking, Bitcoin, illegal Bitcoin sales, all kinds of shit. And what app? That is the worst. That is absolutely the worst. My what app is not on my phone because they put a little QR code. And I looked at that QR code, and that QR code, if I'm talking to somebody that has a QR code and they know how to do it, they can suck up every piece of information from my phone. Be careful. Don't use WhatsApp. Please don't use WhatsApp. And when it comes to Instagram and Facebook, be careful. Scammers galore. And Zuckerberg could care less about scammers. He wants one thing, you to agree with his liberal opinion, because he's good. He's liberal. He's good. You have to be good to be liberal, or you have to be liberal to be good. If you're a conservative and you disagree, or you, like me, a libertarian, and you believe in freedom of choice, you can't have freedom of choice because you're too stupid. The liberals are smarter, so they impose freedom of choice. You have to wear a mask. You have to. You have to do this. You have to do that. They don't work, but you got to wear them. And the thing is, this guy has caused more. This guy, I will not be happy until he is at Nuremberg, televised, and made and put away behind some bars for the rest of his life. This is a pig. And Zuckerberg, if you weren't such a coward, I would ask you, you're a rich man. You're worth almost $1 trillion. Why don't you pay one of your goon squads to come down here and take me out? I dare you. You're just such a frickin' coward. All right, so we're going to talk about Bitcoin now. Now, the reason I put this in, I wanted it in last week, and I want you to ignore the bottom line, this one that says Friday, okay? Bitcoin, these are the futures. Now, what the futures have is for delivery. You contract to deliver in, say, June or July or September, December, next year, whatever. Now, Bitcoin does not exist, okay? Now, if you do that with oil, oil might, there are seasonal factors, and this curve that you see here at the top, the futures curve, actually, it's at the bottom. The bottom shouldn't say Friday. Actually, it should say Friday, but that's the right curve. I'm sorry. What you notice, it slopes up. Now, since you don't get cash settlement in Bitcoin, if you buy a Bitcoin contract, the guy just has to give you the difference in cash. So what's the difference between that and a bet? Nothing. This is for pure gambling. This has no economic value. And you can't deliver something which doesn't exist. See, even dollars, you can deliver dollars because you deliver them in dollars. If you want to buy, euros, you get them delivered in euros because you're going to need euros to transact. Bitcoin, no one gives a darn about it because no one wants to buy it for any goods. So, all in all, this thing right here had so much information in it, I overlooked it. But this thing is yet more confirmation it doesn't exist. There are no options on it, which also, you can't deliver options to anybody. So also what it means is Bitcoin doesn't exist because you can't deliver a Bitcoin to somebody. There's nothing there. Hey, would you like a password? Let me write one down for you. This is the Bitcoin new ETF, the largest inflows for an ETF in history. And again, this is what's showing you that the marginal money, okay, the money that is too cumbersome to buy some of these other things, are now all of a sudden cumbersome. The US knows this, okay? The reason they are allowing this is they are trying to head off the Chinese. The Chinese have a digital yuan, and that's why they had such a tantrum about a week ago. And if you even say the word Bitcoin, I wonder what the Chinese word for Bitcoin is. But anyway, I'll find that out. But if you even utter Bitcoin, you go to jail. They don't have a Siberia, but I'm sure they'll construct something like them. This is probably the most authoritarian regime that there is, but it is not as strong as the military would have you believe. The military just wants you to spend more money. China has a lot of people, but they're dirt poor, and they don't have a middle class, and they're not efficient, and that's all there is to it. They're not the threat. The bigger threat to China is North Korea, because we know that the Unster can fire a bomb straight up, and it comes straight down, and he's either going to just miss slightly and hit China, or he's going to miss slightly and hit himself on the head. But there's no way that they can fire one all the way to California. All right, so I put in Bitcoin here again just to show you double top. All of that pressure that is being applied to Bitcoin is not making it break new highs. Double tops are bad patterns. Now, I am, we'll see. This isn't reversed enough, but we'll see. The other thing is, here's Bitcoin Cash. Now, here's another reason why I think, the game is over, and that the fat lady is singing. And that is that Bitcoin Cash, $1,200 loss, couple $100 gain, it's going nowhere. It's of no value. It's of no use. Sorry, it has no management. Oh, I know. Here's an exercise. I'm going to call Bitcoin headquarters. Okay, one second. And I'm going to prove it to you. I'd like the corporate offices, please. What? Okay, can you have someone call me back when they get back? What's so funny about that? Oh, jeez. Well, at least that makes somebody laugh. There is no Bitcoin headquarters. That's what I call it. And no one runs this. It just kind of runs on its own. Isn't that interesting? It runs on its own. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Only the US government could do that. Ethereum also hit a double top, slightly higher, but it's a double top. This one has something to it. You can somehow get a hold of Ethereum, but I'm not sure what the token does for you yet. I mean, I've lived 5 years or 6 of knowing about all these cryptocurrencies, and not one time, not one instance has lack of a cryptocurrency caused me a problem. After 6 years of the internet, I started to go, geez, how do I survive without the internet? How do I survive without a cell phone? But not cryptos. You'll live the rest of your life without needing them. And right now, why do you need them? There's 11,000 of them. Why do you need them? What do they do for you? I can't go buy pizza with one. I'm not going to invest in something so stupid. All right, Ripple is another one of those token companies. It's kind of in competition with Western Union and illegal aliens who don't get tested or treated up here as they cross the border, and so they bring in disease. Apparently, Mr. Biden believes that would be an invasion of their civil rights, not ours. See, my civil rights as a citizen are subordinate to their civil rights as an illegal alien. Go figure, but I don't know. Robinhood Markets, boy, was this ever a company that everybody loved. Look at this thing, just keeps going down, down, down. And when the volume of, this is a Bitcoin thing, if there ever was one, and when this thing goes down to nothing, you're going to lose all interest in it. The fact that it's gone down this fast is really suspicious. Riot Blockchain, anything with blockchain was like putting anything with .com in the 1999-2000 period. It would go up by 10. Now you put on blockchain and it goes nowhere. I just don't know. I still have yet to see productivity improvement after 5 years of adopting blockchain. We do not have in this country a productivity improvement. It goes up 1% a year, 1.25% a year. I don't even know how they calculate that, to be honest. And then Overstock.com. Now, this is the one exception. If you see the very end, it looked like the green arrow busted above the triangle. I'm going to go on the record here and say let's watch this. But I don't think it's going to break out. They don't, they accept Bitcoin, but they have less than 1% in Bitcoin. So that tells you something right there. No one will accept it as currency. No one will sell it as an investment. They only sell it as an investment, as a trading vehicle. And there's something wrong with that. When people, oh, it's an investment. It's an investment. Here, I'll MicroStrategy, same thing. This guy bought a whole bunch of them, abandoned his mission, and Bitcoin's not helping him at all. And Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Now, this came out well before the ETF. The Winklevoss brothers put this together. I actually, if you really had to do something, this might be a way to do it. We'll see. I don't know what the expenses are. I'd have to look at some of those things. So before you do anything like that, make sure you get the prospectuses. And finally, digital world acquisition. I just wanted to put this because it shows, we talk a lot about politics, and I'm really not politically motivated. I'm freedom motivated, and I don't care what party gives us more rights and reduces restrictions that don't harm third parties. That's called incentivism, and that's why we have to vote out the politicians so that we can tip the election and force them to put in term limits. No more re-election, no more lying, no more scandals, no more not showing to office, none of that. These guys have to be tried, okay? They have to be tried. I'm pretty much calling for most of Congress to be tried. There's a slush fund for sexual harassment. If any person's name is in there, I would fire them within 5 seconds, but they're kept under wraps. Now, that doesn't tell you that politicians are on the same team. I don't know what does, because the Republicans ought to be dying to get rid of the Democrats. They're not, because they do the same thing. And the thing is, it's not you and I. I don't care if you're black, you're Hispanic, you're Asian, you're, whatever you are, wherever country you came from, you came here with good intentions. In most cases, my parents emigrated, and they went through the whole process from Canada. And what I want to say is immigrants are good for this country. They bring in skills we don't have. But when you start doing what we're doing, when it becomes political, it is not. And that's why we have to vote out the incumbents. I don't care if it's a Republican incumbent and you like Republicans, vote them out, okay? You have to sacrifice to get other people to do it. Vote them out. So with that, we're going to be back next Wednesday, and maybe we'll have some more earnings reports. And please like and subscribe. You'll get a lot more of this. You'll never see this on the news, and you'll get to see my beautiful face. And if I was a woman, I'd be all over me. And with that, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you on Wednesday. And don't be afraid of Halloween.